real story of geopolitical maneuvering, aerospace evolution, and deep, deep industrial strategy. And you know what's crazy? The catalyst for this massive transformation was something as seemingly routine as a recently expired contract. Which brings us to a really critical question. What actually happens when a fighter jet's maintenance contract just runs out? Well, we aren't talking about your standard car warranty here. We're talking about the absolute cutting-edge military hardware powering a nation's defense. When the paperwork that guarantees the maintenance, repair, and overhaul of these incredibly sophisticated machines suddenly expires, you're instantly staring down some severe operational risks. You literally cannot afford to have a fleet of advanced jets grounded just because of a supply chain gap. Okay, let's dive into this roadmap. First up, the Rafale Sustainment Challenge. Second, the Interim Bridge Deal. Third, the Hyderabad Aerospace Hub. And finally, India's Localization Master Plan.
Section 1, the Rafale Sustainment Challenge, navigating an expired logistics agreement.
So this whole situation was triggered when the original logistics agreement for the Indian Air Force's Rafale fleet came to an end. This forced the Ministry of Defense to navigate some seriously complex waters just to ensure their premier fighter jets didn't face a single moment of downtime. But to truly grasp the stakes here, we need to understand exactly what kind of agreement just expired. It was a performance-based logistics agreement. And this isn't just about buying a warehouse full of spare parts, right? It's a highly complex framework focused entirely on actual equipment readiness and maintenance outcomes. In this specific case, it was all about ensuring the continuous, flawless operation of the Rafale's M88 engines. And let me tell you, when an agreement of this sheer magnitude ends, replacing it is definitely not something that happens overnight.
Section 2, the Interim Bridge Deal, a seamless solution for the M88 engines.
Confronted with the expiration of that massive performance-based agreement, the Indian Ministry of Defense had to act fast. They needed a seamless solution to prevent any maintenance gaps while they hammered out a much larger, way more complex agreement for the future. You can really see the contrast between the immediate fix and the future vision here. On one hand, we have the bridge arrangement put in place with Safran. They're the manufacturer of the M88 engines. This interim measure ensures that the vital maintenance, repair, and overhaul support just continues without a single hiccup. But on the other hand, the long-term goal is much bigger. This bridge contract basically acts as a crucial stabilizing mechanism. It buys everyone the necessary time to sit down and negotiate deep industrial cooperation and some highly complex technology transfer agreements. And the crucial takeaway is perfectly captured right in this insight. The move reflects India's determination to avoid operational risks during the transition period. Think about that for a second. This wasn't some desperate patch-up job. Actually, far from being a setback, this swift interim arrangement was a highly calculated move. It completely protects military readiness and reflects a very natural, strategic transition in India's rapidly evolving defense logistics strategy. Section 3, the Hyderabad Aerospace Hub, the first M88 overhaul shop outside France. All right, moving from the paperwork to the pavement, consider this number, 40 million euros. That is the massive financial scale we're talking about for the newly inaugurated Safran Aircraft Engine Services India unit. This is a sprawling 5,000 square meter facility. And what makes this investment truly historic? Well, it is the very first M88 overhaul shop of its kind located anywhere outside of France. No small feat. And that hefty financial investment? It's immediately matched by the operational scale. 600. That's right, this hub in Hyderabad is custom designed to service more than 600 engine modules annually. To maintain that incredible volume, the facility is going to employ up to 150 people when it's operating at full capacity. We're looking at a massive logistical undertaking right on Indian soil. And this brilliantly illustrates the strategic depth of the entire facility. Just think about the wildly distinct groups this single hub is going to support. First off, it prioritizes the M88 engines powering the 36 Indian Air Force Rafales. But it definitely doesn't stop there. It's also going to extend support to the 26 Rafale M jets ordered for the Navy. And perhaps most importantly for the big global picture, it will cater to export customers. By servicing all these different fleets, India is instantly transformed into a major global center for M88 sustainment. The physical location itself is also highly strategic. This brand new military engine facility sits right adjacent to Safran's massive LEAP commercial engine center. So this heavy concentration of both commercial and military aerospace infrastructure absolutely solidifies Hyderabad as a major global aerospace hub. Oh, and to really underscore the immense national importance of this whole development, the groundbreaking was actually attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and senior ministers. So yeah, this is a top-tier national priority. Section 4.
India's localization master plan, Safran's 2030 vision for domestic assembly.
Let's zoom out from the immediate facility in Hyderabad for a second to look at the macro view. This is really all about India's grand strategy to shift from being just a defense buyer to becoming a premier aerospace manufacturing giant. Let me walk you through Safran's super aggressive growth timeline here. Step 1, that bridge deal we talked about, securing immediate sustainment. Step 2 is a firm commitment to multiply their sourcing from India fivefold, a huge jump. And step 3 is the ultimate 2030 target. Safran's leadership has actually committed to tripling its India revenue to over 3 billion euros by 2030. And the most critical detail of all, they plan to generate half of that massive revenue directly from local Indian sites.
To actually hit those targets, Safran's localization strategy is incredibly ambitious. I mean, they have offered to establish a dedicated M88 assembly line right in India. This isn't just about maintenance anymore, guys. This is about physically building the hardware. Under this plan, they're looking to assemble approximately 200 of these highly advanced military engines entirely domestically. Now, what's really interesting about this domestic assembly plan is the sheer volume of local production. We are looking at a target of 40 to 60% local content for these engines. That means up to 60% of the actual components and the overall value of these cutting-edge fighter engines would be sourced and manufactured right in India. That drastically reduces the reliance on imported content. It is quite literally a monumental leap forward in domestic aerospace capabilities. Which leaves us with this final, vital question to ponder today. We've seen exactly how the expiration of a single logistics contract ended up accelerating a massive strategic pivot. We've seen the 40 million euro investments and the wildly ambitious plans for domestic assembly. So, as India fundamentally shifts its role from being a traditional defense buyer to becoming a global aerospace manufacturer and sustainment hub, how is this going to redefine the balance of international power? It's a truly fascinating transition, and one that'll undoubtedly reshape global defense logistics for decades to come. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and remember to always keep questioning the mechanics.